All right, so this starts on Thursday night with Nat Hackett, who's up 3. Listen, people have talked about it, but we're just going to rehash it quick. They're up 3. It's 4th and 1. Matt Ryan has been sacked or hit 230 times in a 4-quarter game. The Colts have 6 points. They have no receivers. They have no chance, 0, none of going 80 yards. And Nat Hackett sees all of this and he says, you know what? We're going to go for it on 4th and 1. Not only are we going to go for it, we're going to throw it with my quarterback who's been completely erratic and had terrible judgment and looks washed up this whole game. That's what we're going to do. They do it. They don't get it. Colts come back down. We end up in overtime. I had the Broncos. I mean, this whole analytics thing, it's been beaten to death ad nauseum, and it's turned into you have to be on one side or the other. I like analytics. I also like the concept of just watching a football game and feeling the rhythms of it, and sometimes maybe throwing out the next gen stats and just looking at stuff like, all right, I've stood on the sideline here for 3 hours. Do I think the Colts can go 80 yards? I do not. I'm going to take the 3 points and go up 6 because I don't think they can score. We were talking tonight, Bengals-Ravens, where the Bengals, I mean, talk about year of the dumbass. Zach Taylor, first down and goal from the 2. They do a reverse. Somehow they do a reverse that ends up third down for the 15.
They tried a Philly special, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a version of the Philly special and then the shovel pass. But no, I know what you're saying. I didn't want to jump games either. But yeah, Joe Mixon has 13 touchdowns. You get analytics dictates that guy can't get the ball now.
Just run the ball.
4 plays.
How about your 6'5" quarterback who could do a QB sneak, which by the way they did the next time around.
Ended up doing
they get the 4th and 2, and I would have taken the field goal. I would have taken the points. It was a field goal game. Nope, we got to go for it. Next gen stats say that we have a 2% chance more to get it. Ends up with a shovel pass into 17 guys. Then the Ravens come back down, and it's 4th and short. And Harbaugh takes the points. And everyone goes, I went on Twitter. Everyone went nuts. Oh, my God. Baltimore's betrayed who they are. It's like, I don't know. Did they? They're up 6.
I thought that was smart.
Yeah. Even if the Bengals go down and score a touchdown, you still get the ball back with a chance to kick a field goal to go up 2. Nobody factors in that part. If you don't get that 4th and 1, now the Bengals can get a touchdown and go up 4. It's just nobody talks about the football situations or the fact that you have Justin Tucker. House and I are talking about it. You have Justin Tucker. Even if I'm down 2, I just have to get to the 50-yard line. I win the game.
Worst case scenario, you have 3 timeouts, 2 minutes left, and the best kicker who's ever done it. Right? That was it. And so, you go up 6, and plus you've been stifled on 4th and 1 before. I'm with you. Nate Hackett is a breed of his own, though, I think. And you're saying there's no way the Colts would come down. Nobody scored that game. Analytics, you're right, doesn't see that there were no touchdowns in that game, and there weren't going to be. So
my issue with the analytics is that the situation, House, you and I were talking about this. It doesn't seem to factor in stuff like, well, this team has Justin Tucker. So if they go up 6, even if the Bengals come down and score a touchdown, they're still going to win by 2. We knew it was going to happen when the Bengals scored. It was 17-16. It's like, guess what? Right. The Ravens are going to get to the 40 and Justin Tucker's going to kick a field goal. It's just these analytics that happen in a vacuum without...
Well, and that's the point is, we all have observed analytics at work in a lot of different situations in sports over like the last 15 years or so. In many ways that I think it's pretty enjoyable. It's added to my enjoyment of the NBA, the revolution with the 3 points and so forth. And in football, there is this weird binary. Either the analytics, sort of dictate the direction you're going to go in, or you're going against the analytics. And I think that's the wrong framework. I think it needs to be, the analytics provide information. It's a data point. It's some information about, you want to mitigate kind of the risk position that you're in. You want to slightly increase the likelihood that you can win. Okay, the math is kind of supportive of it. And also, I'm coaching this fucking football game, and I know how the game's been going, and I know who my kicker is, and I know how my defense is playing, and I know who's gassed. I know who in the secondary I need to sub out. Like, all of those things are data points that are important elements of making a complete, comprehensive decision. And it's why the guys up in the booth, they have analytics guys, but those guys are also football coaches, I believe, right? They're not just mathematicians. So that's the point, right?
If there's a hint of the idea that your quarterback has a torn labrum, I think at that point you could stiff arm the 26-year-old computer nerd and say, "Hey, step back here. We're going to kick it." Like this is. I hate to bring blackjack back into it, but I was thinking like, okay, I think analytics nerds treat it like we do. Like when you have a 2, when you have a 12 against a 2, you're like, I always hit or I always stay. I'm not going to change, but there are other factors, right? If the last 10 cards were picture cards, you're going to do something different than you might if there were 3s and 4s coming out, right?
Yeah, well, so Harbaugh, who people were saying, or people thought maybe because of what happened to them last week, they have now betrayed their identity by not going in on 4th down.
Yeah.
I look at it the other way. I didn't think, the running, I know they were running for like 4.5 yards, but they don't have like that big physical runner for the 4th and short. I thought Lamar was really sloppy in the game today, right? Like he missed throws left and right. And I don't want to give the Bengals life. I just want to go up 6. The Bengals had scored 10 points to that point. That had a bunch of 3-and-outs. I was getting pressure on Burrow. And I'm going to make the bet that they can't go 80 yards and get 7. And even if they get the 7, I'm going to bet on my guy to come back down and the best field goal kicker of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like this isn't like cut and dry. It's not like it says 82% they should have gone versus 75% that they shouldn't. So they should have gone. Like you have to weigh the situation.